my book, Grace Canceled, How Outrage is Destroying Lives, Ending Debate, and Endangering Democracy, is out today, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that you will go and purchase this book. I get into everything from social justice warriorism in the church. I look at how it is a lie that one cannot be a person of faith and also not, you can't vote for Trump because you're a person of faith. That whole lie that was first pushed by the Crystal Cons and then now repeated by people like Pete Buttigieg. So all of that plus the death of nuance, the death of redemption, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this here coming up at the bottom of the hour as well, because it's an important book, and honestly, people were scared of it. They were scared of this book, and I actually had a conversation with someone who said that, well, it's not very shocking to discuss the issue of grace. That when you're talking about grace and when you're talking about forgiveness, that's not a very shocking thing. It should be. You should probably do something more sensational. And at that point, I proved completely the entire premise of my book by losing my mind on said individual about the concept of grace, because I thought, you don't think grace is controversial? I mean, have you heard of the story of Jesus? Because I don't know, it just seemed to me like all the disciples thought he was going to come bringing a sword of fire and he was going to just wipe out everybody who was bad. And when he humbled him, when he went through the humbling experience that would destroy anyone else, and took on the sins of the world and paid them, so that through the mistake of one man, so would everyone be redeemed by the sacrifice of one man, and went through all of that. The disciples were scared and they thought, oh my gosh, this is what he's doing, because it's the hardest thing to do. It is the absolute hardest thing to do. And the reason why grace is dead in discourse, and the reason why we deny people a redemptive path, is because we're too egotistical. We are too self-interested and too invested in destroying the other person. It's not about politics and persuasion for people. It's about destruction. They don't understand that the art of persuasion and being successful at that it's not only a great skill, but it's also the greatest victory. Because people don't care. And you know what? Even if someone disagrees with you, and this is what the left also doesn't understand, it doesn't mean that you have to go light a college campus on fire. It doesn't mean that you have to go and bust up people's storefronts. It doesn't mean you have to do any of those things. You could just continue on with your life thinking differently and realizing that coexisting with diverse thought is okay. And I also get into this, how socialism is not virtuous and is unbiblical. My son, in one of his classes one time, and this was at a school in Texas, he immediately texted me and was telling me that his teacher was arguing that Jesus was a socialist, which I think is the most unchristian thing that could be stated. It is unchristian to have that view. I'll say it to your face, because it is. And it needs to be said. The idea that you can absolve yourself of stewardship, and that you're too good for edification of the spirit, and you can offload the poor, those in need, those who are troubled, onto the big bloated government that can't do anything expeditiously, that's somehow merciful, is evil. It is an evil idea. It's lazy, and we need to acknowledge it. It's selfish. Selfishness, I believe, really ultimately is the root of all evil.